if you're all kind of comfortable with that as your starting point.
I don't like the word safeguard,
Okay.
but that's, I mean, I'm also not doing it.
I'm wondering if we can somehow a community that is resilient, or
Yeah, because you don't really safeguard your environmental resilience.
Can we respect it?
Well, we could, but that's why I put in the word adapt, but then I also liked resilience because it's impressing upon people how we need to be able to change, like adjust the sails, so to speak.
What about advance? Community that advances our environmental resilience.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it down as an option for sure for when Craig comes back in. My thoughts to when Craig had suggested the word safeguard, which I do like.
Let's get out of the room. We can change.
Yeah, is that, I think that, don't get surprised. I believe that we kind of have to start dropping like hints of words to get people to start thinking along the lines that they're going to need to change the way that they live. And that's why I like the word adapt. That's why I like the word resilient, because not everyone is at the same level of kind of understanding, that potentially we are other areas in the community that really focus on environmental change. And some people don't even believe in climate change.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They can believe what they want.
Yeah. So part of that will be awareness and education to help, people to support the work that we need to do.
Right.
Community that advances are, see, the thing about advance, I'm
Not strong enough.
no, I think it is a strong word, but I'm keep challenging myself to say, go back to the end state. So where is our end state? And is an advance an end state word?
I'd say advances.
Does advance inspire?
Not really.
I'd be inclined to agree.
But I think we're almost there. It's good.
Yeah.
Our environmental resiliency, that's great. Our innovative, it's all great except for that one word. Anyone
If we
have?
had a lead community, get that leadership back in.
Where? Sorry, here, lead community?
A lead community. Then
Lead community?
you can scratch that one. I don't like it. It's just spitball.
Yeah.
It's all great.
What, so I'm thinking about innovative measurable practices, and I get the measurable. I still hang up on the innovative, especially when we're linking back to these plans
So
that have a lot of breakdown.
true. But I'm wondering, so when I could be
Through implementing, that was the word.
through implementing.
Yeah, through environmental resiliency through implementation of innovative measurable.
Is
Well, but
implementation more of a mission?
Yeah.
I guess that's more. mission.
But still, I think it's anytime I got a good word, let's not lose. Let's not.
Yeah.
Or implementing, or implemented.
I
Change the
kind of-
tense.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Bridget?
Well, no, I'm kind of with you on this one. It isn't inspiring me.
Yeah.
It's not motivating me.
And then Lisa, you are still, I'm interested in so when I say innovative, for example, and there probably is a better word. Let's say in 5 years from now, we say, okay, everybody who's getting a new home is going to have a heat pump. And that will be like a huge, change or shift to, stepping outside the box to say, okay, how are we really going to make impactful change to lower our emissions? But heat pumps are not really new technology or innovative, but looking at the way that we apply them would be innovative, or maybe it's.
When did it go back to impactful? That was a word that
Yeah,
I picked
was,
out
yeah,
of what you were
yeah,
just saying.
Yeah.
Impactful.
And then,
And that's a good example. Part of my hang up is that in itself is also not innovative. Perhaps in
from
5
a
years,
technology
like
perspective.
other municipalities will
Great
do
buttons.
exactly the same thing. And
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe.
Good thing you checked, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So why don't we toss around some ideas about advances while they're coming back?
Like through you, Chair, let's just. hold
Okay,
it till I
sorry.
get at least one more up. With
Thanks.
two, you technically do still have quorum, but I think let's get one of
Okay.
our members back.
Yeah.
Right, got her.
There we go.
There
And then there were two back, perfect.
There we go, now we're back, okay. So we've got a lead
Check.
community that advances our environmental resilience through innovative measurable practices. We're not, and jump in if I'm wrong, we're not sold on advances or innovative, we're kind of struggling with those two words. We tossed around impactful.
What if we move innovative up? Like, an innovative
Oh,
community.
yes,
We can keep the word, just use it
Yeah.
differently. Then it's not the things that are innovative, it's
Yeah.
the community.
I'm thinking of the word innovative in terms of, I always like to say, like, let's throw out like a idea that is just going to be so off the wall that people aren't gonna know what to think, but that's where we need to go, I believe. But you can't really say, you know, a wild idea or, you know,
Yeah.
completely like
Groundbreaking.
Yes.
Or.
groundbreaking.
Harebrained.
Hairbrained.
No, we don't want her. I know what you mean though, what's the word?
Yeah.
It's stronger than innovative.
Game changing.
Who's got it for stores?
Well, I probably did it on my phone, but, so aside from those words, how do we feel as a committee about what we have?
An innovative community that advances our environmental resiliency through measurable practices.
Maybe we. Yeah, I mean, I like it, except for. Yeah, that champions. An innovative community that champions our environmental resiliency.
Champions? Instead of.
I don't think
That's
Craig
pretty good.
sold on it.
Oh, I like this.
It's kind of advances though, we're taking,
Okay.
it's, yeah,
We're making progress.
we're making progress, right. Champions.
Yeah.
Environmental resiliency through measurable practice.
I think I love it.
You know, we should do, is just park it for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Come back
move
and
on.
look at it.
Like,
Okay, well, or,
Today, though, right?
Yeah, we come back a little bit later, like go through the next statement, and come back and see whether it still resonates.
okay, so do you want to just kind of apply the tasks right now, or do you want to just move to your mission statement?
Let's do a mission statement and come back.
Yeah.
Like that. Percolate for a little bit.
Yeah.
Put these down here.
Thanks for getting us through that, Bridget.
No problem. Okay. These are the talking a lot about the person, great. Mission statement, so just to revisit what a mission statement is.
Can I throw something out there before you?
Yep.
So I just did this with the county council, right? And not for sustainability, for the actual council itself. And it was so funny because when I came up with the mission statement, the first thing that popped into my head was, this is a Jeopardy question. You know, like, and the question being, what is county council? Right, and then the mission statement was what you would answer in Jeopardy. I'm like, is that what we're aiming?
Yeah, yeah.
What is?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I looked at it like that, I was like, okay, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so a mission statement talks about the purpose and the function of the group. It answers the questions, what do we do? Who do we serve? Where do we operate? How does the group fulfill its function? Talks about the present, and it serves as an ongoing guide that communicates what the group is all about. Okay, so our little exercise for our mission statement is to discuss what is essential to the organization. You think that would answer those questions. Pretty simple, not as detailed as the red headline. What do you think is essential?
So
What do we do?
I drafted a very rough vision statement, but so I'm gonna loop in some of those other words that we've talked about. So being a leader in the community.
Yeah, okay.
I use the word translating global, federal, and provincial climate policies into actionable programs in the community.
Let me see translation. Action.
So we have policy translators.
And then as well, creating and managing the sustainability strategy and the EDCM plan.
Creation and say again.
I said creation and I said managing. We could also say execution of implementation.
Of CCAP.
CDCM.
Yep, and then
And
EDCM, and then of our, I'm just saying our sustainability, our overarching sustainability strategy.
Okay, okay. Instead of CCAP or in.
I think just
addition?
write it all down for now. Sorry, here I am telling you to write more when you've been writing. For now, overall sustainability strategy. And then could we, when we say policy translation, would you mind just writing down that it's the global, federal, and provincial? Because I think that piece is, important to the relevance of what we're trying to accomplish.
Global, federal, and municipal.
I said provincial.
Provincial.
Ooh,
Sorry, guys. That was just me, pressing the little paper there. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Good, yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Can I take a kick at it?
Mhm.
Absolutely, that's what it's for.
Watch this.
Don't kick this.
The Sustainable Advisory Committee is a committee of the Township of Cavan to promote sustainable practices to the community with regard to energy use as well as climate change adaptation mitigation initiatives.
That was impressive.
Not bad.
Say it a little slower.
I don't have to try it.
It's the committee's purpose.
It's the purpose of this committee.
Okay, all right. Say see purpose.
Yeah.
So when you ask me in Jeopardy, what is a sustainability committee?
That's what he's gonna
That's
say.
what my answer would be.
Who do we serve?
Who do we serve?
Who do we serve?
So I would say we serve community. Ultimately. And that would encompass various stakeholders.
Stakeholders, so.
So the stakeholders, we could say business owners, residents, visitors, and of course, the township itself.
Do we directly though?
Do we directly serve the township?
Yeah, like there's no business owner or stakeholder that's going to be directly to us,
That's going to do,
would they?
they would,
I'm
well,
just, I'm not disagreeing with you.
No.
But I'm like.
you're
thinking it
you're
through.
brainstorming, right?
Who are we really serving? Who are we giving this information?
I see it as the entire community because
Through any specific channel? Like
through any channel. So we're gonna have our EDCM plan is gonna serve the township. We're gonna have some community initiatives that's potentially going to
Mhm.
help residents conserve energy. Maybe we have a plan to engage businesses in cutting down their waste. I see it as we could eventually touch like every stakeholder within the community.
Fair enough, I'm just testing it.
Yeah,
So
no,
just-
but I mean, that's my big picture, concept thinking. And
Where do we operate?
where do we operate?
The township of Cavan Monk. What is?
Yeah, what is the township of Cavalier?
Where?
No, well, don't you have to Jeffrey say what is?
Yeah.
I think you have to say what is. Come on.
Okay.
What other questions do we have to answer?
How do we fulfill our function? Goes back to this, did you answer this enough?
Yeah, I think we fulfill our. So. I'm going to say through our plans, by executing our plans, so our plans being the EDCM, the CCAP.
By executing, developing policies and procedures.
Yeah.
And plans. Plans and policies.
Policies. And then I would probably throw in their education and awareness. I think that's going to be an important part of our mission statement.
I think on that last one, though, I think we definitely would develop as well as execute, right? Like, we don't
Yeah,
want to just
like
be.
create, like develop or create.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, above there, Bridget, like.
Yeah,
we're
developing
or creating the plans.
and executing.
Yep, perfect.
Okay. Okay. Any others?
Yeah, there's.
What do we
What do
do?
you, what do you
On
think,
the-
Lisa?
Who do we serve? Do we also serve like the ecosystem?
Sorry, you have to phrase your answer for me.
I don't have the,
You have my budget. Throw it out. Don't throw the cookies, 'cause they're valuable. This, however, is got long, so you could just like toss it. You get some good air.
it was just along the lines of the brainstorm, if, who we serve include, the natural ecosystems locally,
Yeah.
like beyond the people
Absolutely.
who are here, we
Yeah.
serve the people, or the things that don't have a voice.
Yeah.
We still have to,
Well,
Natural environment.
and from my vision statement, I also had future generations.
Yes,
that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
I mean, practically, at practical level, we do, for committee of councils, but do we serve council? Or
No, you're an advisory committee to council.
right,
You advise council. Yeah. So you say,
we don't
this
serve-
is what we think is a good idea when you're making a decision, right?
Deputy
Based
Bradley serves.
Yeah. So you would kind of make like a recommendation based on
No, that's good.
all of this.
any other questions that we have to still answer?
No, you've got pretty much all of them. What you do, who you serve, where you operate, and how do you fulfill your function. So from that, what would you say what are some of the common themes on what is essential?
Yeah, sorry, what are the common themes? And what
So
is
similar
essential?
to what we did with
Yeah.
our vision statement, right? We'll just kind of throw some things out there.
I actually think that's pretty solid in terms of, there's not a lot of replication up there of terms, and I think that it's a good outline to start with.
Okay, you want to take a stab at drafting one and we can start with that?
So I'll read my notes, and then it encompasses probably a lot of that, but then we can maybe build it out.
Sure.
So I say to be a leader in the community by creating and managing our sustainability strategy I'm sorry, I'm really butchering this. To be a leader in the community by creating and managing a sustainability strategy that translates global, federal, and provincial climate policies into actionable programs within the community. So it probably can stand to be built out a little bit more, to talk about enhance that community section where we're talking about who we're serving. I didn't really get into that enough, I don't think.
Okay,
And
so-
then, do you want me to read it slower?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then we can put it out there and then you guys can, does anybody have anything else? I thought it was a really good starting point, but if you guys want to throw something else out there, let's start with that.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
So you're drafting this mission statement now?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah, and then you can just kind of pull it apart based on all of this.
Then we-
it's a
yeah.
good starting. point.
Yeah, then we can supplement in there. To be a leader in the community by creating and managing, sorry, Bridget, I apologize.
Okay, sorry, by
Creating and managing
creating and managing.
the environmental sustainability strategy. We can probably lose environmental, but I just, I don't know why I wrote it down. Which translates
Sustainability
ability
strategy.
strategy
Okay.
that translates the global,
Global. Okay.
federal,
Federal.
and provincial climate policies
Policy. Okay.
into actionable programs for the community. Now we get to mix it up.
Okay. Sorry, guys, if you can't read that. To be a leader in the community by creating and managing the environmental and sustainability strategy that translates the global, federal, and provincial climate policies into actionable programs for the community.
I like that we're, for me, starting it with to be a leader, because I think that encapsulates, discussions we're having around leadership.
Yeah.
I'd like to, leverage some of those words that we talked about for the vision to see if we can, further leverage them in that were more actionable type of words,
Okay.
to build this out a little bit more. I also had written down like an overarching sustainability strategy, but I don't know if we really need to say that. I don't want to get too specific. The reason, my rationale for wanting to really include, or I guess shine a light on our global, federal, and provincial climate policies is because those are the entities that are setting the goals for us. So right. So I think that if someone has no experience or no understanding of what's happening or why we're doing this, I believe it's important to shed a light on that so that people, when they're questioning or wondering what we're doing, we can say, this is coming, this is filtering down, and we're actioning it. And it paints the big picture for them to understand, where the work that we're doing is going to have the most impact.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm kind of sticking with our purpose, to be honest with you. Like, I think it basically summarizes everything we already have there.
So.
I mean, without going into various, like the deeper specifics of the global or the federal and provincial policy.
I think we could potentially kind of switch them together.
Okay.
Just pick a couple things out of there.
Yeah.
And build it onto the purpose. Because to promote sustainable practices there. Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely we should leverage some of this and then just build it out with, you know, some of the brainstorming that we've done that
Yeah.
potentially wasn't captured in the purpose.
Would you say that has enough leadership?
Well, I mean, you can
Or-
pop in leadership somewhere in it, but
So the questions you're gonna be asking yourself about that, is it simple?
Yeah.
Does it describe the what,
How?
for whom and the how? Is it realistic? Does it describe uniqueness of your organization? And does it align with legislation? Those are some of the questions you're gonna ask yourself when you're doing the test on the statement.
Yeah, I'm thinking if we just take out the bottom half of this purpose and write it down for us to work with. I like how it's promote here, but
No, but you're fine. You can read it. I just have to get a little lower.
how low can you go?
Yeah, really, not that low.
So to promote sustainable practices.
To promote.
We
To be a lead, so.
So I think we can maybe just leave that as is for now and then just continue on and just add another sentence and then we can workshop it.
Oh, okay, so on the bottom of this?
Yeah.
Okay, so
To promote sustainable practices. Throughout the community. With regard to energy use. As well as climate change adaptation mitigation initiatives.
Energy use. And sorry, say that again.
And as well as
Well.
climate change. Adaptation. Mitigation initiatives.
Okay.
And yeah, so I think by stating the global, federal, and provincial climate policies, I think that fulfills the legislative requirement.
Okay.
So
Change colors here. So, local, federal, provincial is legislation, okay, which is good. Does it say? Is it simple? And clear?
I find the phrase adaptation mitigation initiatives
is-
confusing.
I
yeah,
do like that.
What does it mean?
It's very written.
Actually, I like it.
I'm wondering if we could perhaps drop adaptation and just say mitigation initiatives.
Okay.
And so what, and Bridget, remind me of what the other, is it simple, right? That's what.
Yeah, sorry, is it simple? Does it describe what, for whom, how? Is it realistic? Does it describe the uniqueness of the organization and does it align with legislation, objects / bylaws? Just before you kind of jump into that, I will say that your climate change action plan, the two keywords in that plan are adaptation and mitigation. So what are you doing to adjust to what's already happening and what are you doing to prevent it? So in some cases you can turn back the clock,
Yes.
right?
Did
So
we
that's
take
where,
adaptation out of our vision statement? Did we take, or is it still in there?
I think we dropped.
Did we? How short my memory is, I don't recall.
Mhm.
birds are
Innovative community.
innovative.
Yeah, okay, so then we should certainly leave adaptation or adaptability or something of that
Adaptation.
within our mission statement.
Okay, so let's take it In terms of simplicity, I think it's a bit long, but that's just my thought, that you guys can discuss that. Does it describe what? So what is, you want to be a leader, you want to create, manage environmental and overarching sustainability strategy?
It's not saying that we're a committee.
Okay.
It's saying that we're a leader.
Yeah.
But it's not,
Well, I mean.
and I don't know how important it is.
I don't think that that's important because it's just, here, I don't, but in looking at other organizations, you know, they don't say like we're incorporated, but
They do sometimes.
They
Like,
do.
When I went to the county council, and it was like their very first statement is, we are a upper tier municipal entity.
yeah,
And
and that's
like-
probably relevant for,
But
So is the intent that this statement will replace what's in your terms of reference, your purpose as a committee? Is that the intent?
I mean, I don't see why.
Everybody knows.
good Lord, no.
So true.
It sounds like it's a line.
I would say align it,
Yeah,
definitely,
try to
we're
align.
not changing, yeah.
We don't need to bring
This
the
committee-
reference back.
No, that goes for councils, yeah.
Right.
So
Aligned.
do you want to talk about the committee or do you want to talk about the committee's initiatives? Is your mission statement what you're going to do as a committee? Or what is?
I mean,
So what if we stay, like, if we take a step back and we look at it as, okay, council has decided there should be a committee.
Mhm.
This is the committee, and the committee has been given this purpose. So how do we work with that purpose? Right, so we step outside of that purpose, then we're not doing what council's asked us to do. Right,
What we're bound to, right?
Yeah. So,
was that
That was-
bureaucratic?
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
So you just add to your original hand though.
I don't necessarily feel like it's too long. I think a mission statement, you know, even like 4 or 5 sentences is reasonable because you are trying to answer more questions. But I'm curious to see what, like Lisa and Craig, what your thoughts are on it.
I think the mission statement is inherently going to be longer than the vision statement, right? Like,
Yeah.
so some examples that I do have is 4-H Ontario is to provide a learn to do by doing experience. So their vision was actually longer.
Oh,
So to share the value of a clear head, loyal heart, serving hands, and better health with youth, volunteers, and communities across Ontario. So United Way of Leeds and Grenville, it was the opposite.
Yeah.
So their vision was, our vision is a united way dedicated to bringing people together to build vibrant, caring communities. Their mission is to improve lives, build community by engaging individuals and mobilizing a collective action.
So I kind of like how the United Way actually said their own name in their mission, right? So like for us, we could say the sustainability committee is to show leadership in the community or something like that.
Yeah, or the sustainability committee will be a leader in the community.
Or something to that effect.
So you like the way they used United Way in their vision statement?
Oh, I'm sorry, that was their vision statement.
Yeah, their mission is just, our mission is to improve lives and build community by engaging individuals and mobilizing collective action.
Yeah.
So we've just learned in the last 30 seconds that you can kind of do whatever you want.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
As long as they think.
You're answering the key questions.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think there's hard and fast rules. You just want to be able to answer the
Yeah,
questions.
I'm thinking about practicality, you know, in terms of including the name. When someone's actually reading the document, it's, you know, going to say the Township of Calvin Monaghan, the branding's on there. Excuse me. This is the Sustainability Advisory Committee, you know, strategic plan or whatever we choose to call it. To
So you
me,
argue there's a merit to putting her.
I don't think it's necessary. I'm not opposed to doing it. I think that, you know, if someone's looking at it, they know who we are. Based on just the title of the document and, you know. the
Well,
branding.
but the letterhead is Calvin Monaghan. letterhead. It's not really directed straight to this committee, right? So I think the committee deserves
Sure.
recognition.
Yeah, I'm, either way, I think that if we do want to say it, we should just say it right at the beginning. This, you know, the Sustainability Committee,
Not waiting here.
Will be.
Will
is
be.
a- Will be.
or is a leader in the community. Or demonstrates leadership. I think there's.
Is a leader in the community.
We can build off that.
Provides leadership. Is
Is. What do you think, Lisa?
I think the mission statement is not like an action word. I think, and sorry, my thought is on the word translates. I'm not,
Yeah, it's hold on, translate.
I guess I'm wondering if it should be a strategy that is informed by these.
That's good. Yeah.
Or I guess like the federal
Yeah.
and provincial is kind of like
Yeah.
rules, but global is adherence to something
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that the right word though? Informed?
Yeah.
Is any strategy informed?
Is it
By.
informed by?
Is it actually informed by, or is it shaped by?
But you could technically shape your own policy. You're just using your overriding
Mm.
policies or like your upper level as a guide, but you could be innovative, you could be more innovative than the federal government.
Yeah, but it's.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
not unheard of.
we're still trying to tie it to that legislation. I'm just worried. Informed or influenced, like.
I mean, we could be
Guided.
very guided, or we could be very specific and say as dictated.
Wouldn't go that far, but I informed is just you're taking information in and
Okay.
doing
Yeah.
something with it.
Duly noted.
Or not doing something.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
at least taking it into consideration, right?
Yeah.
So you've got that legislation so that if there's something that's hard and fast that you absolutely have to do.
So that you could. use
That's
the
part of
word
your
that you say
information.
Considers that.
Yeah.
So why
Federal.
does our mission statement have to have legislation tied to it?
Well, I don't know.
Like if we were anything other entity, we wouldn't have legislation tied to it.
We might.
It is part
Depending
of,
on-
it just says to test it, does it align with legislation, objectives or bylaws?
Right, but if,
So I think if
Yeah.
you say is informed, you're aligning it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that it's a place for people to go because it's evolving. Like, you know, like new targets are coming out, different ministries are announcing different goals. And I like how using the word informed,
abreast.
I like informed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna
Just something right.
put that there.
Yeah.
We'll leave that there. Yeah, to me, I like the word informed, but you guys, yeah.
I think that it captures the fact that it demonstrates that we are doing our due diligence and are aware of what's happening in our external environment, and we are taking that into consideration when we develop our plans, our policies.
So can we, just as a suggestion, so you've got here to promote sustainable practices through communities with regard to energy as well as climate change.
We scratched it.
Adaptation mitigation too. So could you say your advisory committee provides leadership in the community by creating, managing, and promoting the environmental and overarching sustainability strategy
Yes.
that is informed by global, federal, and provincial, and then that kind of removes a bit of that sentence.
It does.
Right, so it tightens it up a
Yeah.
little bit. Okay. Everybody,
Yeah. I think so. I think it should just be as long as we retain the energy use
yeah.
theme there, yeah.
Managing and promoting.
The climate in there twice, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And communities in like 6 times.
yeah, we'll have to whittle that down.
Just boiling it down, yeah.
Sustainable practices.
I think we have the words, we just gotta turn it into English. Clerk.
She's like, love it.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry if I'm blocking and
That's
people can't
okay.
see, I'm sorry.
Right to six.
I wonder if we could just, so where did you put from, okay, I see. So by creating, managing and promoting the environmental and overarching sustainability strategy that is informed by global, federal and provincial climate policies into actionable programs.
What if we said,
Provincial climate and energy policies.
yeah, we are. Sorry,
That's okay.
sounds like my house.
So I was wondering, Bridget, if we could say global, federal and provincial climate and energy policies into actionable programs, period, stop, we're done.
Federal and
Provincial
provincial
climate
climate.
and energy policies into actionable programs. And then, yeah, and we can just, I'm suggesting that we just scratch the
Scratch
rest
the
of
rest
it.
of it.
Yep.
I don't think we really need to say actionable programs for the community, because it might be for the township, might be for the community, it might be for something else.
The Sustainability Advisory Committee provides leadership in the community by creating, managing, and promoting the environmental and overarching sustainability strategy that is informed by global, federal, and provincial climate and energy policies into actionable programs.
And I would just maybe, is it, we want to be specific, energy use, not energy policies, because that could be pretty broad.
I did over,
Reduce
can you
energy.
get in there?
And is it actionable programs or is it actionable plans?
Let's say
They're
plans.
creating programs?
Let's say plans. Into actionable plans. And then that covers us off for the EDCM, and then
Yeah.
we have a community plan or,
Okay.
okay, and sorry, Lisa.
I must have just glazed over when overarching was put in. What is that adding?
I think that was,
Yeah.
Leslie, you had kind of wanted the overarching sustainability.
I had written that down in my draft, but I'm fine if we take that out. I had put that down as like a descriptor to say, to kind of, to capture that umbrella vision of our, you know, higher level goals and objectives.
Okay. So let me read it again.
When you read it, we're gonna realize we need to, go ahead, sorry.
The Sustainability Advisory Committee provides leadership in the community by creating, managing, and promoting the environmental and sustainability strategy that is informed by global, federal, and provincial climate and energy use policies into actionable plans.
I like it. But I'm open to hearing what you guys think, like if, I like it,
Yeah.
you like it?
The other thing I think it's missing is part of what we struck out, which was the adaptation and mitigation initiatives.
That's valid, yeah. And we didn't, and we don't have adaptation in our vision statement, so,
So just as a suggestion, what you could do is, if your climate change action plan is an initiative that's coming out of this committee, which is what you're telling me it is, your climate change action plan speaks to two different things, adaptation and mitigation. So you could address it in your lower level plan,
Yeah, for sure. Just
if that makes
if we
sense.
want it in the mission,
Yeah.
we struck it. So it's, we can
Yeah.
decide to keep it or not.
I'm sorry I'm always feel like I overthink everything, but I just, you know, we only want to do this once and then have
Mhm.
people buy into it. And I myself feel that adaptation premise needs to be in the forefront,
Okay.
just in terms of,
You scratched it out.
I know. I'm allowed to change my mind. But that's what happens, you know, you get talking and then you think, yeah, doing that, checkpoint, is it checking all the boxes?
Yeah, for sure.
What if you said into, rather than actionable, what if you said into adaptable or mitigating?
Or why don't we,
Adaptable mitigation initiatives.
Adaptable mitigation initiatives.
we can take the wording right out of the purpose and say climate policies into adaptive mitigative initiatives.
Like those are two describers to the initiatives. Okay.
Yeah,
It loses a little simplicity,
It
but I still.
Adaptive and
Mitigate.
mitigative.
is that a word?
Mitigative,
Sounds good.
Okay.
it is now.
Okay. Okay, so Sustainability Advisory Committee provides leadership in the community by creating, managing, and promoting the environmental and sustainability strategy that is informed by global, federal, and provincial climate and energy use policies into adaptive and mitigative initiatives. Going once.
Would it be into or through?
Well, we have to take those policies, like the initial
Mhm.
intent was taking the climate and energy use policies, and we would turn them into actionable plans.
Mhm.
So I do agree. Sorry, go ahead, Craig.
I don't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say maybe grammatically, it might just help if we move the last piece just up here a little bit. So it says more of the committee provides leadership in the community by creating, managing, promoting the environmental sustainability strategy. Right at the bottom, right, that provides or produces adaptive and mitigative plans informed by.
Okay,
Just because I'm gonna lose.
Yeah.
track.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to. That whiteboard's only so big.
You have all these colors at your disposal. for-
That way it's clear that all of these things, the strategy, plans, the programs, initiatives, whatever you call them, are
Yeah.
informed by those things.
yes,
And is it the environmental and sustainability strategy or just the environmental sustainability strategy?
you're saying, do we need the word environmental, or should we just call it the sustainability strategy?
I'm just wondering what the word and, what's the,
Oh, okay, I see, so
and,
managing,
and I guess both of those terms as well.
do we want to have the word?
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
suggests that you're having two plans.
Yeah, so maybe
Two
we can
strategies.
strike out environmental.
Okay. The Sustainability Advisory Committee provides leadership in the community by creating, managing, and promoting the sustainability strategy that produces adaptive and mitigative initiatives that is informed by global, federal, and provincial climate and energy use policies.
Yeah.
So I'm good?
Sounds pretty good.
Okay.
We've got.
We got the mission, but we don't have the vision.
Well, I bet you,
Well,
I think we've got the vision.
yeah, we're just gonna go back and revisit
Yeah.
the vision.
Do you want to take a vote on it? Or-
We will be adjourned by 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we at, 20?
Yeah, so,
Yes.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want
5:35.
to adopt this as your mission now, or go to your vision and revisit it and then adopt the two together?
I think. Why don't we let this sit for a minute? We'll approve the vision and then we'll just come back and see if that needs any tweaks, but I think we're there.
Okay, so we're vision. If I can remember correctly.
Yeah.
An innovative community that champions our environmental resiliency through measurable practices. So we want to ask questions.
I lost my word.
Which word?
I'm innovative, but I'm completely fine with it.
Innovative.
Yeah,
community.
that's the very first word.
Yeah,
Goodness, here I was thinking that I was,
and we struck out environmental, but it's here.
Yeah.
And the sustainable is there, so the whole. ties
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, I think it's balanced.
Measurable is here, but not
Yeah.
in the mission, right?
I think we have almost all of our words.
Okay.
We have Resiliency, we have innovative, yeah.
Is it? Sorry, I'm just looking for my.
Oh, the questions,
My little, here,
your tests, I think they're on the other, if you flip back a couple pages.
I think it's on one. Does it motivate?
Yes,
Is it easy to understand?
I believe so,
It's pretty straightforward, I think.
Is it memorable?
definitely.
And does it make you reach?
I don't know what that means.
Well, I think having the word champion in
Yeah,
there makes
fire.
it really- Yeah,
Stretch, yeah.
yeah,
Stretch, yeah.
yeah.
Are we all in agreement?
We are,
I like it.
yeah.
Okay, so. So I think we have to make a motion to adopt this as our
Okay,
vision,
okay,
and then we would do the same for your mission.
okay.
We can do this one motion if you want, I'm comfortable
Okay.
with the committee.
So do you want me to?
Is yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to recap what they are and then we'll get a mover and a seconder and.
Yep, I think we're good on the vision, so let's do a quick checkpoint on our mission to make sure that we captured everything and then.
I shouldn't get to percolate quite as long, but
Yeah,
that's all right.
Ah, sorry about that.
okay,
Yeah, fun stuff. Okay, so our mission statement. The Sustainability Advisory Committee provides leadership in the community by creating, managing, and promoting the sustainability strategy that produces adaptive and mitigative initiatives that is informed by the global, federal, and provincial climate and energy use policies. Period.
That are important, but that's.
Produces, could it be graphs, maybe? Of course, produces fine. Just think, is there a slightly better word?
Yeah, produces was a weird word.
Why don't we
for me,
say
too.
creates?
Stumbled on
we can say
Create,
create,
sure.
it. Okay,
Yeah, that's better.
let's test it. It's simple.
It will be cleaned up.
Okay, let's try the others.
okay,
So there are 5, so 4 out of 5 is a mark.
Yeah,
Does it?
we only got a pass, right?
Yeah. Does it describe what, for whom, how?
yes, it does,
Yeah.
Okay, is it realistic?
I think it is.
Does it describe uniqueness of organization?
I don't know any other organization that does this.
I think, well, yeah, because we're saying who we are and we're saying,
Okay. And I think the last one, does it align with legislation? I think we kind of addressed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
okay,
My only clarification,
Yes.
clarification question through your chair, is it sustainability strategies?
I would say, so the community, by creating and managing and promoting I would say sustainability strategy.
G, okay, that's what I have.
Yeah.
That creates adaptive and mitigative initiatives that are informed by global, federal, and provincial climate and energy use policies. Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Got it?
Everything else plural. Shouldn't we have strategies?
So that's kind of what I was.
Well, because it's one strategy, like we're going back to that overarching, like one sustainability strategy, and then we'll have our plans underneath the umbrella.
Okay.
Is that, does that make?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, okay. I just want to do the test to make sure that I'm not, the only one comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Bridget, what are your thoughts in terms of moving forward with this? Do you feel good about them?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Good. Good.
Yeah. You guys are.
Lisa, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Craig, you're good?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay,
So Alderman is a mover and a seconder, and the motion will be that the Sustainability Advisory Committee vision is. We don't need to recap it,
it's okay.
okay, and then that the mission statement is, and then we can just write that out. I'm just gonna move in a seconder.
Okay, I'll be the mover.
Second.
Needs to call.
Favor, all in favor? Everyone.
Great job.
Yeah, wonderful job. Thank you, everybody.
Good job, team.
Good job. So then we will pick up, what's the next, just to refresh, just so that, is there any, I guess my question is there any homework that you want us to do prior to our meeting in September?
I think the homework will have to be probably on our side.
Could you just refresh my memory to what oh, that's up here. Thank you, Cindy.
Yeah.
So collect and analyze information. Okay, on September 26th. So what are your plans for that meeting?
So initially, the information that we were going to collect was the corporate data,
Right.
the greenhouse gas emission data, to update it.
Right.
So if this is a collective strategy for the committee, then you'll need the community data as well. So, which may be tricky for us to pull together.
I was thinking about that today.
Yeah,
But maybe we could chat about that further.
sure.
Before the-
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
And I know that we have a hard stop here for Craig.
My only question is, where does this leave us in terms of the energy demand management plan? Because we do have to create that plan, and
Yeah.
it does have a separate vision, and
Yeah.
it does have.
What I
So,
Nope, that's just, I'm sorry, I didn't
yeah, no.
intend to cut it, but I just was thinking, why don't we say for stage 3 that we will focus our efforts on the plan that needs to be updated, the energy management.
But isn't that already in stage 4 action plans?
Well, I think that there is a step that we need to update the information in terms of our usage data to actually set a target. We can't set an action plan if we don't know what we're dealing with, right?
Absolutely.
And that's, yeah.
So I think I see where you're
Yeah.
seeing the update of the energy demand management plan as a action plan under develop goals
Yeah.
and action plans.
Right.
Okay, so we may blow past our deadline. That's the only thing. I don't think it is I don't think it's there's no meaningful deal. But I think we were targeting to have it in by October.
I get our plan, but I think we just gotta figure out, is this committee a sustainability committee, or is this an action plan committee? And I think an action plan is part of what the committee does.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the main function of the committee, right?
I get it. So
Yeah.
where do you see the finishing the energy demand management plan?
Well, we can't finish it unless we have the data for it. Right, so we're not gonna finish it next
So
meeting.
you're gonna be able to finish it in one meeting?
I don't think so, but I don't think we can finish it in 2 either. Right, like,
Yeah.
Okay,
so I think we have to be realistic about it, right?
okay, so we
So what if-
probably
yeah.
adjust those, okay?
Yeah,
I mean, if we take a step back, it's like, if you want to workshop one of our meetings specifically for that action plan, then maybe that's the priority we need to set for the next meeting. Like, we can pause this framework,
Okay,
right, on this committee.
Yeah.
Shift our efforts to this plan.
yeah. With our vision and mission
Yeah.
in mind, so we can.
yeah,
And we
okay,
can,
And then come back to this,
Yeah.
if that's what you're,
Get the plan updated, come back, yeah.
okay, so are you seeing that as your September meeting? Or are you seeing that as a separate meeting?
you're the one with the deadline, not us. So what's your deadline for this thing? When is it due?
is the plan the actual deliverable, Bridget, or is the reporting of the data?
Both.
Okay,
Both,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay, I understand.
But this committee's not gonna report the data. Like, it'll come to us and we'll say, ooh, we.
No, but I think as Leslie had said, data will help inform your plan, right?
Right.
So,
Why don't we do what you suggested? Have we have our vision, we have our mission, so we can align the EDMC, Energy Demand Conservation Plan, with our vision and our mission. We can have a workshop just on the plan. We can all commit to going through it and showing up and look, I would say what we could suggest doing is going through the plan and saying, identifying where we need the data, and then identifying what initiatives that we feel out of the CCAP we could roll into our plan. And then you could go back, get the data, we could approve it, and then we could report it. And then we can jump back in here and revert back to our overarching plan. I
Okay,
don't know if I'm making
Okay.
sense.
Sort of, I guess the big thing is like, will you be able to have data for the next meeting that we can digest?
but that's
Like, if you don't have the data, then it's very hard to set the plan, right?
right. Kyle would need to be here to answer that because he is looking after that. So if we commit to having it for September 26th. We could always split the meeting in two.
Yes.
Or we could spend the meeting analyzing the data. Take a pause in stage 4 could be develop your use the data to develop your energy demand management plan. And then your next step for developing goals and actions for the committee would be November. And then you could.
So let's go back to the plan for a second. Like, are we starting from scratch and throwing out what exists, or are we taking what already exists and starting to modify it a bit? Like, what stage are we
My
at?
thought is that you would start from scratch, because your plan that we started off with just looked at energy and so electricity and gas.
Right.
But now you have a mechanism that addresses waste, water. So you probably want to amend
Yeah.
the plan to encompass that.
So we're not starting from scratch then, we're amending.
I think what
I think you need to start from scratch, but
I mean, that was
you
my
can use
thought when I
it,
read
yeah,
it.
yeah, like you can use certain parts of it, but it is certainly pretty out of date.
Yeah.
So,
Then I'm a little bit confused in the sense that I have never seen a committee actually put a document like that together with any form of success in a couple of meetings. Like, somebody's got to draft it. Right.
Yeah, I
And
think
it's-
that we,
it's-
perhaps we could have a conversation about creating a subcommittee and seeing if we can identify some help in terms of actually generating the documents.
yeah, yeah,
If that would be helpful to you, because I do agree, like, it's very hard probably for us and for you to update or create a document on the fly. And then if we could have a working session or a subcommittee, I'm not sure how that works. So that we could theoretically carry on with our monthly meetings, but also start
Actioning.
actioning the plan.
yeah, sure.
And
If we came in here with a blank page and said, okay, let's get a plan, we'd be months.
I think you would take the same approach that you're taking for this, obviously, because that's the original intent of this whole process was for your energy management plan. So I don't see it as being that complicated, but perhaps not in 2 meetings.
Okay, so to wrap it up, the next step, what would you suggest doing further? What's going to make it the most effective for you guys to hit your deadline of having to have the plan updated and report the energy usage? I mean, I'd like to suggest just thinking about how we can best leverage everyone's time and the timelines to have a working group.
Yeah.
To actually start hammering out the plan.
Mhm.
And then perhaps we can leverage our committee meetings with the full committee to continue on, and which means we'd be doing them concurrently.
Mhm.
Looking at our timelines, I don't think that we will If.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that's realistic, unless what we did as staff is took a stab at it and brought it to the committee to review.
Do you think that you'd be able to take a stab at it and send it out a week in advance so that we could provide comments and input?
Probably not for September, but maybe for October.
So then do we need, so then the September date, do we need it? Like what value?
No, if we look at the data
Mhm.
for the September meeting, both the corporate and the community data, then that probably would get us for that particular meeting. And then for October, if we could spend some time as staff.
Yeah.
Building the plan for you to review
Okay,
in October.
Could make a suggestion here, maybe for September, if we bring like a skeleton of a plan. You know, like a straw man of whatever term you want to use, like kind of here's the sections, here's what
Yeah.
we're thinking.
That's
Like a
what I'm
template, like a
suggesting.
template.
Yeah,
A
that's what I
template.
would suggest.
Here's the inputs we
Yeah.
want, you know,
Yeah.
that, it's almost like a checkpoint. You take that away, come back with what
Yeah.
you get out of that meeting.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
that's a great
October,
idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, so can we adjourn?
So for clarification through your
Yes.
chair, so we're going to meet on the 26th, and that meeting is going to be a template of what our plan is going to look like. It is not going to be a collection of data.
No,
both.
the 26th is gonna be the data. We would review the data. The
Okay.
template would come at the 24th.
So you felt, I
No,
thought you first said.
no, sorry.
Okay,
So the template has to come to the 24th too, right? You need the data and the template. Like, it's gonna be a checkpoint to see, to progress that plan,
Mhm.
right? The plan won't come in one meeting and be done. Right,
I get that.
right.
I
So-
don't
so
know
you
if
want-
she would be able to have data and a skeleton of the plan in a month.
But I think we already have, like, I don't think we need to throw out what we already have.
is your thought to take this and like modify this, like remove old staff and kind of bring this back in a draft skeleton to the committee?
Yeah, we can, yeah, absolutely.
And then that would be your template for the 26th, as well as whatever, I'm assuming not, so you said you can get our corporate data, but not community data.
That's.
So that's okay. Like,
Probably not.
That's what I mean. So I think if
Yeah.
you can't bring data at all, let's not even call this a data meeting. If that's ultimately what you're saying, right? We're not gonna have a chance to get the true data and do the collection of it. Right? Yes, no? Is that fair?
What I'd like, I think that I understand where you're going, and I'm wondering, Bridget, if what we could do is not necessarily bring the data, but let's have, let's discuss how we're going to collect and analyze. So where are your data sources? How are you going to access them? How are you going to, audit yourself to make sure that they are valid? And then if we can put those controls or those objectives in place, that would make it easier perhaps to access the data and identify how we're going to repeat the process every year.
right, once the data comes in, you know where to put it, you know
Yeah.
what to do.
Yeah. So, and then perhaps we could chat maybe next week in advance of that. Because I have some creative ideas in terms of how we may be able to,
Not innovative.
no. Not innovative. I'm feeling very strongly that they're creative.
Sounds good.
And then is that acceptable, Cindy, if we?
Sure, I think that's a fair statement. So ultimately, the expectation is we will bring this back in a skeleton, basically high level of what the modifications are to be updated. We'll just put XX because we don't know exactly what it's gonna look like. We will talk about where we go through this document, we're going to gather the data
Yeah.
from, but this main focus is on energy and green gas. As we expand, we will talk about the different components when we get into climate control or climate change
Yeah.
action plan, et cetera.
So
think that's-
I think that stage 3 could be really like our data management and reporting session.
Yeah.
On how we're gonna gather, not the actual information.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. And so let's plan, I think, to be fair, let's try to stick to 1 to 3. Do we agree with that? I don't think 4 to 6 gave us any better attendance. Does 1 to 3 work for people for September 26th?
That works for me. Yeah, I can do that.
You're good, okay.
And then, yeah. Hopefully we get good attendance.
Mhm. And then we had talked prior
Yeah,
to the meeting.
yeah.
And Deputy Mayor Huntley and I spoke as well. So once we, determine our vision and our statement, get everything secured, then we will recruit to get more members to join our accessibility advisory committee to increase that complement once we figure out our direction.
We
Is
have
that
our,
kind of
we have our
right?
direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're-
Kinda
okay.
clear.
That's what I mean. So that's the next meeting, like very close. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For you?
So
Okay, I think we're all good. For September 26th at 1. We'll think up next week. Or the week after, but, yeah, so I think we made good progress, so thank you. for
No
that.
problem.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We need a motion to adjourn and be perfect.
And then, yep, so Deputy Mayor Huntley and myself, I'll second that.
Perfect.
And then we're all adjourning.
Yep.
Yeah.